The Fox 25 Primetime News at 9 starts right now.
A push for recreational marijuana gathering thousands of signatures just days before medical marijuana goes into effect. We're going to tell you how close one group is to getting that question on the ballot.
But first, breaking news in just the last 30 minutes out of Washington. There is a new head of Veterans Affairs. Fox 25's Jennifer Falsetti is monitoring this for us from the live desk. Jennifer.
Yeah, Mike and Wendy, in an 86-9 vote, the U.S. Senate has confirmed or voted to confirm Robert Wilkie as a new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. President Donald Trump tweeting about that just within the last 10 minutes, saying Robert will do a great job for our vets. We also recently won choice. Also out of Washington, some other developing news. Let's take you live now to the White House, where President Trump is looking to revoke security clearances of half a dozen former officials, citing their public commentary about the ongoing Russia probe. This would include former CIA Director John Brennan, former National Intelligence Director James Clapper, and former FBI Director James Comey. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders would not say when the president would make his decision, just that updates would be coming soon. Of course, we're going to keep a close eye on that one for you right here at the live desk.
An Oklahoma group's petition to get recreational marijuana on the ballot is nearing its signature goal. Green the Vote posted this photo of the latest count. The group is working to put these two state questions before voters in November. State question 796 would help define medical marijuana laws in Oklahoma, while state question 797 would legalize recreational marijuana for anyone 20 years or older. But even if Green the Vote gets the 124,000 signatures required for each, the initiatives may still miss the November ballot. Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff is live at the Capitol tonight to explain. Caroline.
The Oklahoma Secretary of State says it's highly unlikely the issue will appear on the November ballot because of procedural requirements. But this grassroots effort is less than 7,000 signatures short, and they don't plan on giving up yet.
Going tonight to get them notarized, all my full ones.
Norma Sapp has been volunteering with Green the Vote to collect signatures for State Question 797. It would legalize recreational use of marijuana for people 21 years and up.
People just exploded after they didn't at the health department.
She says the grassroots movement gained momentum when the State Board of Health voted to place strict new restrictions on medical marijuana, which was approved by voters last month.
It's an emotional issue for me, sorry. When you can take care of your own health, it's a really big deal.
Green the Vote has gathered about 118,000 signatures for the measure so far.
We're close to liberty.
But even if they get the nearly 124,000 signatures needed, Oklahoma's Secretary of State says the initiative probably won't make it on the November ballot. James Williamson says the review process for a citizen-led petition can take 60 days or longer.
I think it can, but if it doesn't, it'll still be there to go on the next statewide ballot. If there's something called in 19, it'll be there, or if not, it'll be the presidential election.
Green the Vote hopes to turn in their signatures ahead of the July 8th deadline in order to maximize the chances of getting 797 on the November ballot. Wendy?
Caroline, thank you. If the petition gets enough votes but doesn't qualify for the November ballot, the governor could call a special election or place the issue on the next statewide ballot in 2020. And in Mike, in just 3 days, State Question 788 takes effect.
That's right, but there is still no set framework for medical marijuana. Now, starting Thursday, those without a patient license and possession of up to 1.5 ounces of marijuana face only a misdemeanor and a $400 fine if they suffer from a medical condition. Now, currently, the punishment for possession of any amount of the drug is up to 1 year in jail and a $1,000 fine. The rest of the law is hanging in the balance. Well, the state has 30 additional days to establish a medical marijuana framework. New Health Solutions Oklahoma has released what they call a model bill outlining a regulatory infrastructure. The group is now asking you to review the legislation and submit input.
We've gotten a lot of those comments online over the weekend, and we have actually even redlined and made some draft changes that we will be presenting as an update to our legislators this week as we go along.
A legislative working group on medical marijuana will host its first meeting Wednesday afternoon. Industry groups are expected to give presentations and push for a special session. License applications will be available for download beginning on Thursday on the Oklahoma Department of Health website. Applications will not be accepted, though, until August 25th.
We now know a meeting will happen Wednesday to discuss the future of the director of the Board of Pharmacy. Chelsea Church is accused of bribing the former top attorney at the Board of Health for rules that would favor the pharmaceutical industry. Church and Julie Ezell reportedly exchanged text messages discussing the rules. Ezell was arrested after allegedly sending threatening emails to herself about the emergency rules and lying to authorities. Those controversial rules passed by the Board of Health ban smokable product and require a pharmacist in all dispensaries.
23 people have been arrested by the Kiowa County Sheriff's Office for involvement in a cockfighting ring. Those 23 were arrested Sunday morning near Cooperton after an anonymous tip. 50 roosters were confiscated and turned over to a rescue group. 15 birds, though, were found dead. There's no word on how much money or what else was found at this time.
4 members of a Lincoln County family are now charged with child neglect. Fox 25 told you a 15-year-old boy was found living in a barn, eating grass and sticks to survive. The boy's father, stepmother, and 2 older stepbrothers were arrested. The teen's father also charged with child abuse by injury. The boy weighed just 80 pounds when he was discovered.
And just hours ago, Governor Mary Fallin signed paperwork that will let you vote on if eye doctors can operate in retail stores. State Question 793 is going to be on the November ballot. This would allow large retail stores to open optometry services. That vote would change the state constitution and allow the legislature to regulate them. Right now, that law bans you from getting your eyes examined and filling a prescription in the same store.
Well, the skies have started to clear out just in time for that sun to go down, so it's a beautiful evening out in Oklahoma right now. We are seeing those clouds shifting down to the south and east, but more clouds are starting to move in from the north and west with a very large cluster of thunderstorms basically taking up all of eastern Colorado and most of northeastern New Mexico. These storms are going to be moving into the Oklahoma Panhandle, but should miss Oklahoma and the rest of Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. So early tomorrow morning, we will be seeing lots of clouds as residual from those big thunderstorms out in Colorado. But we won't be seeing any rain, and temperatures will be pretty comfortable. Then we get to look cooler up to the north. It's going to be pretty comfortable for tomorrow, but downright chilly up to further north. Canadian air mass is moving in. How that affects your weather coming up in your Storm Watch forecast.
Carlo, thank you. Family and friends are remembering the woman killed in a hostage standoff at a Trader Joe's in Los Angeles. That store is still closed tonight after the incident on Saturday. Right now, you are looking at Los Angeles Live. The 27-year-old victim was hit when police exchanged fire with the suspect Saturday night. Police say it all started when the suspect shot his grandmother and kidnapped a woman. Police say he took off, leading them on a chase and then crashing into the store before going inside and holding dozens of people hostage. The suspect eventually surrendered to police and is now facing murder charges. Well, that scary situation may have you thinking, what if it happened right here? Well, it's something that you can be prepared for just in case. Fox 25's Will Metzel has your back with what a local emergency manager says you need to do. Will.
Well, Mike, that hostage situation happened suddenly, and the Oklahoma County emergency manager says there are a few things you need to know to survive a hostage situation. On Saturday, unsuspecting shoppers at a Trader Joe's were taken hostage when a man being chased by police suddenly entered the store. A 27-year-old employee inside the store was killed. Oklahoma County Emergency Management Director David Barnes says a plan needs to be developed if you're taken hostage.
The stress levels immediately go up, and people tend to sometimes take actions they would not otherwise take. That's why the calm factor is such a huge thing, to be able to rationally think through a situation.
Barnes says what you should do if you're in this kind of situation is continue to monitor how the situation is changing. Make sure to identify the best way out of the building by locating exits. Don't do anything to further agitate the suspect, and designate a leader for a safety plan. He says this could help end the situation peacefully.
Taking mental notes, trying to realize exactly how many people are involved, if they have weapons involved, any of those kinds of things can be very helpful should you escape. And getting information to law enforcement.
He says to check around you when you're in a public place.
You go into a business, again, a convenience store, look through the windows before you go in. Make sure there's not a situation going on inside that facility that you don't want to be a part of.
Barnes says looking for the exits in a public place is one of the #1 things that will help you be prepared in this situation. Mike.
All right, well, thank you. Barnes also says if this were to happen locally, emergency management would be focused on the most efficient communication between all agencies involved.
OSBI still investigating an officer-involved shooting in Bixby that left a teenager dead. It happened yesterday morning after police responded to a stolen car. Officials say the teen sped towards an officer's car. That officer fired several shots. The car was later found with the boy inside, shot several times. He later died at the hospital.
And let's go live now to Washington. Leaders from Iran and the U.S. are exchanging threats. A potentially dangerous back and forth is taking place between Washington and Tehran. Iranian president says a war with his country would be, quote, the mother of all wars. And that prompted an angry response from President Trump. All right, I pulled up his page where he said, never, ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. Tehran is dismissing the threat from President Trump, calling it passive reaction and issuing a new threat of its own, floating the idea of closing the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic waterway responsible for roughly 20% of the world's oil shipments.
The president's been, I think, pretty strong since day one in his language towards Iran. He was responding to comments made from them, and he's going to continue to focus on the safety and security of American people.
It just needs just one mistake to have a major regional war, and this is going to be very destructive for world economy.
Iran is also expressing anger at the U.S. for pulling out of the 2015 nuclear deal. At least 5 other countries are now trying to salvage that agreement.
A Lyft driver says she was sexually assaulted by a passenger during a weekend ride. The advice police are now giving to rideshare drivers about what to do in this kind of scary situation.
Plus, red flags in an inspection of the Branson Duck boat rides before the tragedy that left 17 people dead. But one inspector is now saying about what he found on board.
Breaking news right now out of Oakland, California. That is where hundreds have taken to the streets to protest after an 18-year-old woman is violently stabbed using public transportation there. You can see just the amount of people in the streets of Oakland right now calling for an end to the violence. A woman was stabbed and killed on the Bay Area Rapid Transit over the weekend. Police have identified the person responsible as a Bay Area transient who stabbed 18-year-old Nia Wilson and wounded her older sister Sunday night. That suspect has just been captured. We are being told by KGO, who is the affiliate in the San Francisco Bay Area, that you are looking there at the crowd, though, of people that have gathered in the streets. There are thousands of people, it looks like, right there protesting that violence, that violent act that happened over the weekend. Of course, we're going to try to gather some more information for you. Anything new we learn, we'll have for you right here at the live desk.
Jennifer, thank you. 4 people are dead, at least 1 person missing after an apartment fire near Austin, Texas. Now, this happened in the town of San Marcos. Right now, 6 people are in the hospital, one of them in critical condition. More than 200 people are without a place to live. Community groups are donating supplies to help people who lost everything.
So I just wanted to bring, just something to put here in honor of them and their families, and I feel so bad that happened. Hopefully the whole community will come together and support the families and the friends and also the first responders that are out here.
Fire officials say the fire started in one complex and then spread to a nearby complex. Officials are still investigating exactly what started the fire.
A man is arrested after a Lyft driver tells police he sexually assaulted her during a ride. Oklahoma City police say the driver picked up James McGuire from Mickey Mantle's and drove him to a motel off I-35. Police reports show McGuire was touching the driver's shoulder, making comments about her tank top. Police say he then touched her inappropriately on her chest and thighs. At one point, she told him to stop or she would crash on I-35.
If a driver in that situation finds himself presented with that set of circumstances, if you can get away from the person, that's always your best bet. But sometimes if you're driving along the interstate like she was, that can be problematic, especially shortly after midnight.
Police say in this case, the driver did the right thing by calling 911.
Survivors of the Missouri duck boat tragedy say they were told by the captain that they would not need their life jackets. That boat was raised from the bottom of Table Rock Lake today. It capsized Thursday after a severe thunderstorm. 17 people who died were not wearing life jackets. There also may have been design problems with the boats. One inspector says he warned the company just last year.
One of the most prominent things that I found was the exhaust being in the front of the vessel, which according to Department of Transportation standards would not pass regulation. The exhaust has to come out past the passenger compartment. The ship was taking heavy waves to the front end. With the exhaust coming out the front and going down below the water line, those waves are obviously pushing water up in that exhaust.
The boat will be taken to a secure facility where the Highway Patrol will transfer custody of the duck boat to the NTSB.
Police say a 12-story building has collapsed in Miami Beach. At least one person is injured. Demolition was going on, but it's not clear why the structure collapsed. The building was scheduled to be demolished to make way for a new 19-story tower on the beachfront property.
Back to school is getting closer and closer, and we've got your back if your kids still need immunizations before heading back to class. The Oklahoma Caring Van is making stops this week at Metro grocery stores. They'll give free shots to kids 6 weeks through 18 years old. Make sure that you bring a record of previous shots. They're going to be at the Buy for Less tomorrow from 3 to 7. This is near Northwest 36th and MacArthur.
The maker of Ritz crackers is recalling some of its products due to possible salmonella contamination. I just pulled up their website for you. The affected Ritz products contain a whey powder that has been recalled due to potential salmonella. Those products include Ritz cracker sandwiches with cheddar or cream cheese and Ritz bits. So far, no one's gotten sick.
An Oklahoma business at the White House today for a Made in America showcase. Roundhouse Manufacturing makes jeans, overalls, and other clothing items. I pulled up Senator James Lankford's Twitter page where you can see that he said, great to celebrate the 115 years of jeans made in Shawnee. The showcase features products from all 50 states.
The back-to-school shopping habit that is costing you hundreds of dollars a year. Fox 25 Consumer Watch has got your back with the things your college student doesn't need before you send them off to school.